Hey, this video is going to be about replacing the display assembly on a late 2013 MacBook Pro 15-inch. This is the model A1398. If you've never done this before, you can definitely do it. It takes not a whole lot of skill, but here's one thing that I wanted to recommend is this Tecton mini screwdriver set. It comes with all kinds of bits that you're going to need to repair MacBooks or phones or anything else. You can buy it on Amazon. So plug for Tecton. First thing you're going to do is take off the screws, and you're going to need, at least for this MacBook, a number 5, if you can see that. This is the pentalobe, this is the 5-star. There. And I've already taken my screws out, but you want to do that. Put your bit in your handle and take them all out. And the next thing you want to do is take off the back. And very important, whenever you're working on computers, the first thing you want to do is unhook the battery. So you want to unhook the battery here. So it's just under this plastic tab, and you could use a spudger tool like this if you want. So the battery is disconnected. The next thing that we want to do is unhook all the cables that go to the display assembly. And on this MacBook, you have your LVDS cable over here, and you have your 3 wires for the Wi-Fi over here. And underneath the Wi-Fi cable, you have your FaceTime camera, etc. So you just have to unhook those. We'll go ahead and do that. You can pop these Wi-Fi off with your fingernail if you have a good fingernail. You also want to lift this up here over the fan. And this little cable here, the FaceTime camera, you can grab from both ends, kind of wiggle it out using these plastic tools. You can also use your fingernails, or if you want to use something metal, just be very careful. You don't scratch it or cut anything. On this side, we're going to lift up and there's a little plastic black tab here you can pull up. Maybe you can see that right there. I was able to lift this up, and then you can pull on the metal bar here. Kind of wiggle it out just ever so slightly. Be very careful with this. Not hang there. Let's see, the next thing we want to do is move these cables out of the way. And they are, how are they on here? Okay, they're just glued on there. So you want to go under here like this. Slowly work them off. I bought this spudger set on Amazon as well. So just a plastic tip, got that off very easily. We'll let that hang. Alright, now the next thing that we need to do is take off the screws that are holding the bottom case to the assembly, or vice versa. And those are behind these rubber or plastic, I don't know what they are, I guess they're rubber. You could say I already took mine off, it just fell right off. But you can just pry yours off. There might be a piece of, I don't know if it was wax or something on these, and if you want to save that, you can carefully pry it off with tweezers. On this side, you can just kind of grab it with your finger and pull it off. And you can see there's that bit of wax on there. So take those off, keep them in a spot where you won't lose them. And the next thing we're going to do is, I'll pull this in so you can see it, is that we need to take off, there's a screw down in here, it's the same on the other side, and then these 3 right here, this one, and this one, they're the ones that hold the screen in. And so what you're going to do is take off this inner hinge here, and the same on the other side, and take off this screw and this screw, but leave this one here, and same on the other side, leave the inner one in. That's because we're going to have to open up the case, and because of the strength of the hinge, you don't want to be messing with this with your bare fingers or a pair of pliers. So in order to do that, you're going to need, for the inner one, you can also buy this online, which is also a very helpful tool set, a T5 in a 6-star hex pattern, or no, that's 8, whatever, T5. That's this inner one. You take those off. Another tip and trick, grab a magnet from your refrigerator, and you can just put magnets right on there and they stick. Or put the screws right on and they stick to the magnet. We'll go back on this side. And then if you get a big magnet like this one, you can just place it in the order that you found it. Or what you could do is get a permanent black marker and draw all over it if you want to draw and make notations. Like the screw goes here, the screw goes there. Okay, you see this little metal piece here that I took out on this right side? It was right in there. So I'm going to keep that with my screw. And got that out. So the next thing is I have to get my bit. That was a T5 for those two little ones. This next one, to get those 6 screws out, is a T8. So I'm going to swap out that for your T8. And remember to do the outside screws. And then you want to do your inside screws after you've gotten the case opened up. Do that, and then these 2 outer ones. And you should be golden here. Now the one bad thing about this Tecton set is that they're not magnetic, which is a real pain sometimes. But these Kashi brand are magnetic. Okay, so now it's time to open up the lid. Okay, so you can see I have the laptop open. Open it up past 90 degrees. You definitely want it at least past 90 degrees because this hinge has to come out around this lip. If you can see it there. So you definitely want the lid open. So you can see we have our one remaining screw left, and then there's one at the bottom down there. So I'm going to take off this top one. I'm going to set my camera down. Zoom in here for you. I'm going to hold it and take off the top one. Leave it in a little bit so the whole thing doesn't come crashing down. But I've got the bottom one out, put on my magnet. I'm going to work on the top one. And make sure you're holding on to this lid here. I'm holding on with my other hand. So hold on to that lid so it doesn't fall down and go crashing. And then grab the bottom. And you're going to want to work this out here. Okay, there's a reason why I couldn't just get that out real easily, and the reason is I didn't take this little metal bracket right here out all the way. But if I can't really reach my tweezers, that's right there. Pull this guy out of there, and now I should have no trouble taking off the screen. I like to hold this in my lap when I do these. So, this way. I've been holding on this whole time so it doesn't drop. But you can see I can just lift off the one side, and on this side, try to hold the camera and get off at the same time. There we go, it just lifts up. And that's why you can see the angle stays the same. That's why you need to keep it at over 90 degrees. Otherwise it's not going to get over that lip. And so there you go. You have the one cable on one side, Wi-Fi, and the other cable on that side. So you take your new one. If the hinges are not set at above 90 degrees, I'd recommend carefully getting a pair of pliers and holding it with a firm grip and bending it into place so it's above that 90 degree barrier, or that 90 degree mark. And then carefully, when you bring it back in. So when you get your new screen, you want to make sure that the hinges are the same angle on both sides and they're above 90 degrees. And then you want to hold your MacBook like so, or you can do it on the other angle, the perpendicular. Make sure your cables are out of the way. So I had to put those on top of the fan. And then you just work it in there over top of those. See this, there's 3 screws and the 3 screws. Just going to rest it in there. I can't really show you how to do that because I have one-handed. I'm holding the camera here in one hand. But that's all you do, and when you want to put that inside screw back in first and make sure it's tight, and same on the other side. And then you want to put it on its side, put those other 2 screws in, make sure they're all tight, and do everything in reverse order, and you should be good to go. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. I want to add one more thought. After you've put the screws back in and you reroute the cables, make sure that there's a little metal piece that goes under these 2 screws. Make sure that goes back where it belongs. And you want to reroute these back, plug these back in. These obviously, these go where you think they should go. The longest one goes back over here on J2. There's you kind of put it over top and then click it back down. Kind of need 2 hands for that. But here, the one thing that I wanted to show you was your lid's probably not going to be factory perfect here as it lines up. So what you want to do is put it on its back like this. Loosen these screws just a little bit on either side. These 6 screws, just loosen them up. And then pick up the bottom and center it with your fingers so that, again, I'm doing this with one hand, but I can even do it with one hand. Since this is a little loose, make sure it's sort of even on all 4 corners. And then you make sure it's kind of factory perfect. And then take your tool and tighten all those back down, and you should be good to go.